Want a break from the ads?
It's all here.
Back to Mono's been going since 2009, but we actually started in 1989, so it's been about 34 years now we've been going. It's funny because initially when we started it was all vinyl, and then by the early 90s everything went to CDs, but now it's sort of come full circle again, and so it's all back to vinyl again.
It's been, I think, 3 or 4 years now I've been collecting. Recently my collection's grown quite a bit. Spent a little too much money in records.
We started in about 1989. We had another shop. It was called Sonic Sounds, and was in this shop for quite a few years. But by sort of 2005-06, we noticed everyone sort of was downloading. It wasn't Spotify and things like that. It was more like iTunes, and it really did affect the sales, you know. So unfortunately, we closed in about 2007, and then we reopened in 2009. And I think that's when 2009-10 was when there was a resurgence again in vinyl, yeah. And obviously the last sort of 15-20 years, young people haven't really experienced that, you know, that thing of coming to a record shop when they're 10 or 12 and buying their favourite album. So it's good that it's come back again. I think one of the reasons was that I think people just got a bit fed up of just having it, you know, on their iPods or on their phones. By then, people like to have something to collect.
Personally, I like having it, physically having it, but also I think, to me, it sounds better. Because you've got like the separation of instruments and you can hear the clarity of everything, so you can hear all the drums and the cymbals and the crashes and everything. But also, I love like the 70s stuff, as you can see, because I feel you got warmer vocals, and then like you've got like from like tapes and cassettes when it was like recorded on tape, you've got like a slight hiss, and you've got like different elements that you can just hear, and it just sounds great. And who wouldn't want their music to sound better?
I think a record shop's like a bit like a filter system. It sort of filters out, you know. So hopefully, if people come to a record, you know, to a shop, they realise that what's in the shops normally, you know, quite good stuff. Because if you go to Spotify, it's like going onto YouTube, because you just get lost. There's thousands of things, you know. So I think I always like to think of a record shop is like a filter for good music, you know, if you do the shop right. Yeah, independent shops, they struggled like we did in about 2008-09. So they started a thing called Record Store Day. What it was really was just to help the record shops that were left, you know. There wasn't many by then, you know, probably in the very small hundreds and that, just to give them some releases and that, and that's grown and grown since that, you know. And since then, people like Taylor Swift have become involved. I think she was even an ambassador one year, you know. So yeah, definitely. And there's lots of picture discs, limited editions come out that day. So I think people like to collect. You know, there's always been people like to collect things. So it's nice to have the you know, the limited editions, the coloured vinyls, things like that. Yeah, definitely. And I was a big Prince collector, so whenever stuff like Prince comes back in, it can often take you back. That's what music does, you know, and that's what it does. It takes you back to, you know, to being a kid.
Music's kind of been in my family, like throughout like my life. I've just had music around me, I guess, and I guess that's what's affected my taste. Because Carole King here, Tapestry. My mum loves this album, so do my grandparents, and yeah, Carole King's been playing throughout my life, I guess.
But it's really been the last sort of 10 years when we've noticed it's come back again, and more so in the last 5 or 6 years. We was always very more sort of indie and alternative, but nowadays we will sell a lot of, you know, Harry Styles and obviously Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, things like this, which we wouldn't have probably done, you know, years ago. The 1975 have been a very popular band on vinyl. How even people like, and this is a lot of pop stuff which I wouldn't do, you know, many years ago. So the pop market's very strong, and that's pushing, I think, vinyl sales for younger people certainly.